Hello and welcome to the Simpson Estate. Today is September 3rd, 2012, and we're going to take a tour of the Simpson Estate Gardens. So starting out right here on our right, we have a work in process. This is a garden sculpture I'm making. It's going to be a turtle, and his shell is made out of hens and chicks plants that will eventually fill in and be his shell. And then his head and feet are going to be made out of cement. This is the second attempt at the head, and he is not at all cute. I think I can salvage him with some mortar or something and make it better. And then eventually all these ground covers will fill in behind. Moving along, over here we have some zinnia planted in honor of my kitty Zinnie. And over here on the south end we have, kind of sunny, I don't know if you can see it, 4 gigantic trees which should never have been planted there because there's power lines. These two are giant sequoias, and then there are 2 deodara cedars, all too big for here. They do have nice privacy for now, but eventually I'll probably have to get rid of them. Coming around the corner here, this spot here is pretty sunny, so I decided to put some mammoth sunflowers. And June was kind of cold and wet, and they flopped over, and they tried to recover but kind of didn't ever really make it. So maybe next year. Moving on to the backyard, over on our left we have my red bed. And it was more red in July when the crocosmia were blooming, but there's still some red in here. And of course sometimes the seed packet says it's red, but it grows orange. Still nice. I also put vegetables in here this year. These are my green beans. They're actually done now, but they made for a very delicious August. And over here, first time ever, I grew some Brussels sprouts. I'm not sure, but they should probably be bigger than that by now. Behind them, I have pathetic little tomato plants. It's hard to grow tomatoes in western Washington any year. This year, the whole month of June was like January. And I think they went on strike and never really recovered. So maybe next year. Now, over on the right, we have the Simpson Estate Vineyards. Sorry, not vineyards, orchards. And we have fruit trees of varying states of unhappiness. I think they would all prefer to be in eastern Washington, where the climate is more appropriate for fruit trees. So they do the best they can. So down here we have a raised bed, and in it we have strawberries and carrots. And I had to cover it with chicken wire to keep the squirrels and crows from stealing all my strawberries. And we also have some party crashers here. These black-eyed Susans are nice. They were not invited, they volunteered there, and I said, okay, this year I'll allow it. Just this year. Now back in this corner, just a sad moment here. We have to look at Zinnie's grave marker. My gray kitty died a few months ago, and I planted some zinnia here too in honor of her. Rest in peace, Zinnie Binnie Fo Finnie. So now we're going to look at the lawn in the backyard. This is where the badminton court usually goes, and this year now we can also do croquet. I just finally bought a croquet set. We'll see if the croquet balls will actually roll on moss, since there's a lot more moss here than grass. And we are walking towards the shade garden now. And I built this in 2006, and it's getting pretty filled in and pretty happy. I made this garden path mostly out of rocks from this garden. And there's quite a few natives in here. That bench in the corner there is where I drink my coffee in the summertime. I'll just point out a couple of the natives. This one right here is called Inside Out flower. In the spring it gets cute little white flowers that look like umbrellas that have blown backwards by the wind. Over here is another native. This is sorrel. And this guy is too happy. He wants to take over the garden. Moving around the corner here. Here's the view from the coffee corner. And a couple things still blooming in September here. This plant right here, I forget the official name, Fuga or something like that. But the variety, this variety, is called Black Negligee. And I think that is appropriate because it's pretty sexy. Now down here we have another native, one of my favorites. This is Vanilla Leaf. And he's pretty happy. Over on this side we have another native, Trillium. In the spring it gets white flowers with 3 white petals on it. So another turnaround view of the shade garden. There we go. Now this concludes our tour of the Simpson Estate Gardens. We hope you've enjoyed yourself. Please remain seated until the train comes to a complete stop.